All right, let's dive into this pile of articles and research about AI. There's a lot of debate going on, and today we're going to unpack it all, see what we can learn.
Yeah, what I find interesting is how these sources look at the human side of AI, too. How's it changing what we think about creativity and ethics, even intelligence itself?
For sure. Let's start with AI and content creation.
Okay.
Music, art, articles, you name it, AI is making it. And that brings up some big questions.
Like how it changes what creativity even means. Let's say an AI writes a piece of music that's beautiful, complex, moves you. You can't tell if a human or AI made it. Does it matter where it came from? Is the AI actually being creative?
Whoa. Yeah, it really makes you think. And then there's the economics of it all, too.
Right.
These articles talk about how AI could change creative industries in huge ways,
Right.
like maybe even replacing jobs people have had for years.
That's the debate, right? Will AI help people be more creative or push them out? Some people see AI as a tool, like a better paintbrush or a super fast research assistant. But others are worried about AI content flooding everything, making human creativity less valuable and taking away jobs.
That's a scary thought. A world full of only AI-made stuff, no human touch. Makes you wonder who owns it, too. Like if an AI writes a song, who has the copyright? The
Yeah.
programmer, the person who told the AI to write it. It's a legal and ethical mess we're just figuring out.
Absolutely. And that brings us right to the ethics of AI development. It's not just can AI do this, but should it? And how do we make sure it's done responsibly?
Right, it's like with a new medicine. You wouldn't just give it to people without testing if it's safe.
Mhm.
One of the articles talked about algorithmic bias. Like if the data used to train the AI is biased, the AI will be biased too.
Yeah.
Imagine AI being used to decide who gets hired, but it's secretly discriminating against certain people because of the bad data it learned from. That's a terrifying thought.
It is, and that's why we need rules and guidelines for how AI is developed. How do we make sure it's transparent, accountable? If AI makes a choice that affects someone's life, can we even understand why it made that choice? These are questions we need answers to now.
Definitely. One article even mentioned AI being used for weapons, making decisions in war. That's some sci-fi nightmare stuff right there.
It's a real worry, and it shows how AI could be used for bad things just as easily as good. We need to be extremely careful how we develop and use these systems, thinking about all the consequences, good and bad.
For sure. All this brings us to how AI might affect human intelligence. And this is where some of those tech leaders have some really interesting kind of out there opinions.
Right. You've got some who think AI will make us way smarter, almost like a brain upgrade for humanity. They see it helping us solve huge problems, maybe even merging human consciousness with AI to create something beyond human.
Whoa, like transhumanism. Using technology to go beyond our natural limits. That both freaks me out and fascinates me. It feels like uncharted territory.
For sure. But then you've got other big tech names saying, hold on, this could be dangerous. They're worried AI could get so smart it makes us obsolete, or worse, sees us as a threat.
It's that classic sci-fi story of robots taking over, but now it feels like it could actually happen. This really makes you think about our relationship with technology. Are we trusting it too much without really understanding the risks?
Absolutely. And all this connects to how we educate people in a world with AI. How do we prepare future generations for this?
Right. It's not just about teaching them how to code or use AI tools. We need to teach them critical thinking, creativity, empathy, how to make good decisions, things AI can't do. They need to learn to question things, to analyze information, especially with so much AI-generated content out there. How do you even know it's true anymore?
It's about them becoming the masters of AI, not the other way around. That's a big idea in all these articles. Education has to change as AI changes. Give students the knowledge and skills to thrive in this new world that's evolving so fast.
So wrapping up this first part, there's a lot to think about. AI is already shaking up content creation, raising ethical concerns, even making us question what intelligence is. And education is key to navigating this future where AI is everywhere, but we'll talk more about that in the next part.
Looking forward to it. You know, it's amazing how fast all this is happening.
It really is.
Not long ago, AI was just in sci-fi movies. Now it's like woven into everything we do, and it's only going to get faster from here.
It feels like every day there's a new story about AI doing something incredible.
Hmm.
Beating a chess grandmaster, making realistic pictures, writing computer code, you name it.
Totally. And as it gets more powerful, there's more potential for both good and bad.
Right. And it seems like finding that balance is the key. How do we use AI for good without letting the bad stuff happen? We've talked about content creation, the ethical stuff, how it might even change what it means to be intelligent. It's a lot.
It is. And it feels like we're at a turning point. The decisions we make now are going to affect everything that comes next.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not just about picking good over bad. It's about all these different possibilities, all these choices with complicated consequences. AI is a tool, and like any tool, it depends on how you use it.
Right.
One of the articles had this comparison that really stuck with me.
Okay. What was it?
They said AI is like fire. It can keep you warm, give you light, cook your food, but it can also burn you, burn everything down. It all depends if we control it or if it controls us.
I like that. And to control it, we need to really understand it.
Right.
We need rules, guidelines, and we need to have real conversations about it. Not just fear-mongering or hype, but real, thoughtful discussion.
And speaking of conversations, there are so many different opinions about the future of AI out there.
Yeah, it's all over the map.
Some people think it's going to be amazing, a utopia where AI solves all our problems, and then others are worried, scared even, of what could go wrong. It's like we're writing a choose-your-own-adventure story, and we don't know what the ending will be.
That's such a great way to put it. It really shows that we have a say in what happens with AI. It's not destiny. It's a story we're all writing together.
Exactly. And that brings us back to education. How do we prepare kids for this world where AI is everywhere?
This is where it gets really interesting. The way we think about education has to change. It's not just about teaching facts and skills anymore because AI is already getting so good at that stuff.
Right. AI can access so much information, process it instantly, even tailor lessons to each student. But what it can't do, at least not yet, is teach those things that make us human.
Things like creativity, critical thinking, empathy, how to make good decisions. Those are the things that will always set us apart from machines, and that's what education needs to focus on.
One article called it a shift from knowledge workers to wisdom workers.
Oh, I like that.
It's not just about knowing the right answers. It's about asking the right questions, understanding the bigger picture, making good choices even when things are uncertain.
It's about nurturing that human spark that AI can't replicate. And that means we have to rethink everything. What we teach, how we teach, even the whole structure of schools.
That's a huge task, but it's also exciting. It's like we're on the verge of totally reinventing education for the AI age.
And that reinvention means looking at not just what we teach, but how we teach. AI can actually be a great tool for personalized learning.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Imagine AI tutors helping teachers, giving extra support to students who are struggling, or giving more challenging work to the ones who are ahead. Imagine AI figuring out what each student needs and creating a custom learning plan for them.
It's like everyone gets their own perfect teacher.
Exactly. And they get to learn at their own pace, in their own way. It's a much more personalized and empowering way to learn. But of course, there are challenges.
There always are, right?
One thing these sources talked about is how AI could actually make inequality in education worse.
Yeah, I can see that. If some kids have access to amazing AI-powered education, but others don't, it could create a bigger gap between them. We need to make sure everyone has access, no matter their background or where they live.
Absolutely. Fairness and equal access are crucial. We also have to be really careful about bias in AI algorithms. These systems need to be designed to give everyone a fair chance.
It's a lot to balance, but we can't ignore it. If we do this right, AI could completely change education for the better.
Definitely.
Make it more personal, more engaging, more effective. But if we get it wrong, we risk making things even worse for the kids who are already struggling. And we could end up with a whole generation that's not prepared for this world where AI is so powerful.
It's a serious thought, but it's also a call to action. We all need to be involved in shaping how AI is used in education. We have to make sure it helps all learners and helps them reach their full potential.
It's so true. As we go into our final segment, let's think about this idea of AI as both a challenge and an opportunity for education. How do we use its power without falling into the traps? How do we make sure it helps us become smarter, not dumber? And how do we prepare future generations to not just live in a world with AI, but really thrive in it? Stay tuned, we'll explore those questions in our last part. Okay, so last part of our AI deep dive. Let's put it all together and really imagine what the future of education could be like.
Yeah. These articles paint some wild pictures.
They do.
Some of them talk about AI personalizing education in the ways we can barely even imagine right now.
Like it really knows you, your strengths and weaknesses.
Right, exactly.
Like those sci-fi movies where the AI tutor's like, oh, I see you're struggling with this, let's try this way.
Yeah. AI could figure out if you need hands-on activities to learn, or if you learn better from pictures than words, stuff like that.
It could totally change how we do things. No more one-size-fits-all education. Everyone gets their own path.
And Think about kids in rural areas or places without good schools. They could have access to the best teachers and resources, all thanks to AI.
That's incredible. But what about those concerns we talked about? Like, what if kids rely on AI too much? Will they still be creative, still think for themselves?
That's the big worry, isn't it? We don't want a generation that just sits there and lets AI do all the thinking. And that's where teachers are so important.
So it's not about replacing teachers with robots.
Definitely not.
It's more like giving teachers the tools to do what they do best.
Inspire, mentor, guide, while AI handles the more routine stuff.
I like that.
One of the articles said teachers will be more like learning architects. They design the big picture, the overall experience, and AI helps with the details, the individual support for each student.
Yeah, that's a great way to think about it.
And think about how much more time a teacher would have if AI could do all the grading, the lesson planning, all that stuff. They could actually spend that time really connecting with their students.
So it's like AI is the ultimate teaching assistant.
Exactly. It takes care of the logistics, and the teacher can focus on the human connection, those higher level skills that AI just can't do.
And maybe AI can even help us change what we think of as success in education.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like, it's not just about getting good grades or passing tests anymore. It's about being adaptable, being able to think critically, being resilient in a world that's changing so fast.
Right. It forces us to think what's really important. Maybe AI can help us create a system that's less about just getting a job and more about developing the whole person.
Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like a lot of these articles were saying that AI isn't just a technology revolution, it's a societal one.
For sure.
It's making us ask those big questions. What does it mean to be human? What do we want education to be? What kind of future do we want to build?
Totally. And that's the key, isn't it? We can't just ignore AI or be scared of it. We have to talk about it, really understand it, and make conscious choices about how we use it.
Exactly. The future isn't set in stone. It's something we're all creating right now by the decisions we make.
Exactly.
So everyone listening, as you go from here, keep asking questions, keep learning, and keep being part of this conversation. AI is here to stay, and it's up to us to decide what that means for our world.
Well said. And remember, the biggest question isn't what can AI do, it's what do we want it to do for us?
That's a great way to end it. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI. Until next time.